Do you ever have one of those years where you just think, come on, year, give me a break? What more have you got to throw at me? No, just me? No? I'm Chris from CM Learning, and we have had to face a lot recently, right? We always have to face a lot. It just feels like at the minute it is a lot. And we've had lockdown, we have had quarantine, we have had local lockdowns, we've had more lockdown, we've had more quarantine, and you will have had a lot of other stuff going on in between all that. And because of that, financial issues, personal, professional, really serious stuff. This time I want to offer you some really practical techniques to help you through. And remember, you can always grab my top 10 resilience techniques from the description bar below. And these are techniques that I hope you feel are just practical and really strong mindset techniques anytime you're struggling or anytime you need that little added resilience boost. It just feels like now we could probably do with that little boost. Am I right? I know I'm right. We are doing this, and guess what? We are doing it now. When we're going through any massive change or we're responding to the shock of a big change, the one thing that we need to hold on to and grip for dear life with our fingernails is perspective. Now, this already sounds easier said than done, because when it comes to perspective, it can sound really simple when we're talking just like this. But when we are in that moment and when we are taken with those emotions, it becomes so difficult to think past that moment. And remember, our brilliant brain always trying to help us. It's so nice, it's so kind to us, always trying to help, and so often having the opposite effect. And in fact, if you are not already subscribed, what are you waiting on? Hit that bell and the subscribe button. There are so many other videos on the channel where I talk about this, how our brilliant brain does so much to try and keep us safe and protect us from pain and danger and all that kind of stuff. Go and watch some of the other stuff. Here's the problem though, the brain works so hard at trying to keep us alive that it's doing all this automatically. It's all there for you. The point being, when we're in that moment, it's so hard to keep perspective. But we must. That autopilot mode that I'm often talking about can be switched off. We can switch it to manual. Like anything with our development, think about your professional development or the last qualification you received. It just needs that same amount of time and focus and effort and commitment into developing our mindset. So when we're going through a particularly tough time, it does become easier for us to switch to manual and to help ourselves through by keeping perspective, by knowing that the world will keep turning, by understanding that however we are feeling in that moment, it's a feeling and it won't last forever. It's like everything that's been going on. It will pass. We don't know when, but it will pass. And just keeping that perspective and telling ourselves that, yeah, this is going to be tough, it's going to be hard for a while, helps to focus us that it's not always going to feel like this. We're all going to have good days, and maximize those good days if you are able to, whatever that looks like on the work front. Maybe it's a massive boost of creativity, or it could be catching up with your nearest and dearest, whether that's face to face if it's allowed or through a screen. Remember, we can still have connection with the social distance. Make the most of the good days and understand that there are going to be bad days, and give yourself permission to have those bad days. We all have them, and you will be forgiven for having many more at the minute than other times. Do what it is that you need to do to get through, whether that's a Netflix box set, whether that is a stint on your PlayStation, whether that is a little afternoon nap. They can boost productivity, you know, I stand by that. Give yourself permission to have those bad days, have a bit of a slump. Importantly, at some point we do have to then decide to help ourselves through. I had a bad day of my own recently. Yes, they do happen. You think, Chris, you know so much about mindset and resilience. Well, guess what? No one's perfect. And I had a bad day. Everything was getting on top of me. Nothing was going right work-wise. And I'd had enough. You've been there, right? You know what I mean. Just by switching off that autopilot, I was immediately able to tune in to my physiology, and I knew that I wasn't right. I knew that I wasn't feeling great. I knew that I was feeling frustrated at things that really should not have been frustrating me. And so that first step of just tuning in to what you have going on is so important to help you in that moment to get some perspective. And my way of helping myself out of it the other day, it wasn't a box set, it wasn't my PlayStation, it was a walk with the dogs. You might not have dogs, you might not like walking, but give yourself permission to have those bad days. If you're a permission seeker, you'll have it from me. There you go. Have some permission, and then just do something that helps you to get a little bit of that perspective back. And what is it they say? This too shall pass. And it will pass. Now, remember, I'm talking about maybe some lockdown tips if that's where you are at the minute, but these could be just general good, strong mindset techniques to help us through any tough situation. And so what can happen during anything like that is something that I call the rule of 90-10. And I do talk about this at length in another video, so I will link to that in the description bar below. But essentially what it means in a nutshell is that we spend, say, 90% of our time worrying about the stuff that really, when we think about it, it only happens for about 10% of the time. Sound familiar? So many of us are prone to this. And again, remember, it's natural, it's okay if you are prone to it, because all it is this bad boy in here trying to keep you safe. So we spend so much time worrying about what if this, what if that, and we disasterize and we catastrophize. And you would be completely forgiven for doing that, certainly right now. There's big stuff going on. But remember, there is always big stuff going on. So with this rule of 90-10 in mind, we can start to then again switch to manual, and we can start to be really conscious of where we are putting our energy and where we are putting our focus. We can keep that perspective, remember, and we can apply it to whatever we have going on, and we can say, it will be fine. Whatever happens, I will handle it. Because then it becomes so much more than trying to just stay positive. The 10 in the 90-10 means that bad stuff happens. We know that. Bad stuff happens throughout life, and we have to be prepared for it. The rule of 90-10 is all about not spending 90% of our time worrying about the stuff that only happens for the 10% of the time. And you might have spotted my quote in the background on videos. Sometimes the most powerful choice we can make is in where we put our focus, and no more relevant is that when the world feels so chaotic and so out of control. Then we need to be kind. Be kind to ourselves, be kind to others around us. So this is really about not beating ourselves up. When a big, massive, worldwide thing happens, whatever that thing is, then all these experts come out of the woodwork and they tell us things like, hey, now's the perfect time to write that book, or why don't you learn a new language? You've always wanted to do that. Or we beat ourselves up because, why haven't I got the energy to feng shui my house or to Marie Kondo my house? We think that we should be doing so much better than we really are. Trust me on this, wherever you are, you're doing great. You're doing you, and you're doing just fine. There is no requirement to write that next best-selling novel. Sometimes when things are tough, just getting out of bed and facing the world is a massive win. Dive into these videos next, whether it's resilience tips, whether it's how to get out of a slump, whether it's negative thoughts and emotions you want help with. And do check out the channel, there are so many more there for you, so please do subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I'm back for your mindset and resilience. That's all for now. I'd love to know what you think in the comments, let me know, and I will see you soon. Over and out for now. Bye.